Welcome back to another edition of the Course Creation Incubator Podcast. I'm your host, Gina Onativia, here to help you maximize your time and your productivity to get you in shape so you can't wait to create your course and work on your marketing and write out your content. And that's what we're going to talk more about today. As I record this, I'm really struggling to get the entire family back in shape. It's not just me this time. Alex, the hubby, Tristan, my 9-year-old, we all have cruise lag. I'm pretty sure cruise lag is a thing, or people are just being playful online. It's like jet lag, plus you're trying to work out all that rich food that you went through or that we went through, and just the sedentary lifestyle that we had over 7 days. So it's taken us more than a week to adjust. And I'm trying to get back into running shape, working on my routine, working on my rituals. Part of that is working out with a trainer and just building my body back up. So I thought it's a great time to talk in this episode about why it's important to establish routines and to really put those rituals in place. I mean, we all love atomic habits, right? Especially for us course creators. And if you're listening, you're likely a coach or a consultant, or you're working some kind of part-time or full-time job. And more than likely, your course creation is just one of the many things that you do, one of the many priorities. So routines are so important when we continue to add these things to our lives and we're trying to make room for something like a course and your business overall. And routines aren't just for kids. And by the way, if you have little ones, you know how messed up they can be if you take them off their routine. So I mentioned Tristan's 9. On that cruise ship, we're staying up till midnight every day. We're eating pizza at 11 p.m. Oh, and then he's, sipping my mochas in the morning. He's having 3 bowls of ice cream a day. And I kept saying to him, this is vacation time, okay? This is really not what a routine is. In fact, this is the opposite of routine because as you know, when you go on vacation, you just let everything go. And I think in the absence of routine, I get it. You need to recover and you need to take that time and just go for it sometimes. But I really miss that routine. And we immediately put Tristan back on a routine as soon as we got back to SoCal. Better sleep routine, getting back into tennis, seeing friends, reading books. What a concept again. Everything that grounds him and centers him, because we know how important it is to him feeling healthy and feeling great. And it's the same for us as course creators. So today I'm going to walk through 3 routines or rituals that I feel like are really important to us as course creators. Okay, so let's dive in. And part of what prompted me to record this episode was before I left for vacation, the cruise, I had wrapped up or pressed pause really on 2 clients. And I came back from vacation, all of a sudden I had this different schedule, this different flow. Because previously I would wake up, drop Tristan off at school, then immediately hop on to communicate with these 2 clients. And with these clients on pause, it's just been a different morning experience. And I realized I don't have a new routine to go with this new flow, with this new schedule. Because after I got back from vacation, now it was a new time for me. What I ended up doing was having a conversation with my business coach. This is what your coaches are for, right? So, hey, I feel like I'm floundering. I need this new schedule. Where should I go? And of course, she set me in the right path right away because she's amazing. And I'll link to Patty's episode in the show notes. And she said to me, okay, what do you want to start? What's this first ritual to recenter yourself? And this is the first ritual or routine I want to talk about. If you don't have a lead gen ritual or routine set up already, I want you to do this for your business. So I said to Patty, I'd like to start with lead gen to start my day. Right? They say always be selling, always be nurturing. And I don't put an emphasis on that enough. So I now have a 30-30 routine that I'm doing 4 out of 5 days. So the first 30 minutes are dedicated to lead gen for the consulting agency. So you guys know I have a hybrid. I've got consulting clients that I absolutely adore that I do done for you and marketing packages for. And then we've got the student side of the business. So for 30 minutes each day, I'm checking into my leads for the done for you and for the marketing packages, nurturing those people, reaching out, really making time for them. And by the way, if you're interested in one of our new marketing packages or doing Course Done for You, just reach out to me, hello@Course Creation Boutique. I'll link to that in the show notes. So we're really growing that agency side of the business. And it's important to me to just have even 30 minutes. I know I can get a lot done in focused 30 minutes. So I'll set my timer for that. Then the second 30 of my 30-30 is the student side of the business, nurturing my 6-week accelerator students. So we've got this brand new community that we've been doing. So do I need to record something for that? Do I need to check in? Also, my online course Jumpstart members, checking in with them. Do they know we've got a monthly call coming up? Things like that. So really important to me to focus that time for 30-30 for my lead gen routine. So what does that lead gen routine look like for you? How would you use that time? And it doesn't have to be 30-30, it could be 20 minutes a day to start. Could you post more on Instagram? Could you be replying to people, getting in the comments more, checking your email statistics, checking how your lead magnets are doing, how's your opt-in, how else can you build your list? How can you use that lead gen time with the idea of nurturing potential students to take the next step with you? So that's the first routine I want you to think about. How can you get into this habit of list building? And I'm making an emphasis on this because sometimes we get so sucked into the course creation because it's time consuming. Hey, Gina, I'm working on my scripts, I'm working on my sales page, things like that, that we're not focused on building our audience. And I always want you focused on building the right audience. And having this routine in place will help you do that. Trust me, I've already seen awesome results based on that. And it feels really fulfilling and satisfying to know, okay, I built up these relationships or I nurtured these people to start my day. Now, the second routine I want you to think about is with content and script writing. So now every Wednesday, to my team's delight, because my team was getting really frustrated with me about recording this podcast, rightfully so. So now part of my podcast writing routine and writing and recording is taking time Wednesday morning. So I've got 45 minutes to an hour. It's Wednesday morning right now, and this is a minimum. And I set my timer to either brainstorm topics or download episodes or record, or a lot of times I'm doing both. So because I like to batch, I'll list that episode inside of the show notes about how batching doesn't really work, but I kind of mini batch and that works for me. So I record my notes first, if you've listened to that podcast episode or how I batch, and it's about my script first and foremost. It's kind of a rigorous process because it takes time. I can't just sit down and record a podcast. I don't know, can anyone do that? Can they just sit down with like a couple of bullet points and record a podcast? So I just don't have that in me. So it's deep work for me. And I'll link to the podcast, the episode I did about deep work, about that wonderful book. And it's really about sitting down and focus and taking that time and just taking out all distractions. And I have to be disciplined that it is the deep work, the focused work, that I'm really thinking through something versus just going through my emails and checking off action items, which is the easy work, right? Sometimes it's not easy, but it's the quick work that you don't really have to think through. So with this podcast, I really want to sit down and create something meaningful for you. So I've designated Wednesday mornings as my creative podcast time, and I need to think of a fun way to phrase that, which I will for the future. And by the way, I should also note, it's not just about podcast time for Wednesday mornings. It's also other content that I need to, again, think through. So I've got this more robust community that we just announced for the 6-week accelerator students. I want to record, say, a behind the scenes about the podcast. Wednesday morning is my opportunity to do that. So whatever that deep work, that thoughtful work I need to do for my students or for the podcast, that's happening on Wednesday. I want to give you another resource for this writing ritual. And Ann Handley just updated her wonderful book, Everybody Writes. So she just revised it, it's expanded. And what I like about Ann is she doesn't pull any punches. She's like Laura Belgray, where she's a wonderful writer. She's funny. She lays it all out for you. She's not a snob about writing. She doesn't think it's like this magnificent art. She wants us all to become better writers. And she talks about how writing is a habit and not an art. And she says, we're tempted to think that writing is an art, that only a chosen lucky few can do it well. But that's an excuse, a rationalization that lets the lazy off the hook for being the communication equivalent of a couch potato, flabby, unmotivated, and inarticulate. The truth is, the key to becoming a better writer is to be a more productive one. The key to being a better writer is to write. Love that. And she talks about having a ritual that you set up, ideally daily. So maybe this is the flaw of my Wednesday ritual, right? So I need to think about how can I incorporate writing into my daily routine. Now, if you've been thinking about how to build up those writing muscles and institute a daily routine, Anne talks about a daily writing ritual that you can do when you don't really feel like it. And let's be honest, sometimes I don't really feel like it either, and I consider myself a decent writer. And she has this cool technique that she got from a professor named Linda Berry, which is a 4-square technique to give some structure and inspiration and a bit of fun to create this daily habit about writing. So there's 4 quadrants, and you ask yourself 4 questions. 1, how did you spend your day? 2, what did you notice or see? And then 3, what did you overhear? And then it's actually 3 questions. And then the 4th one is you draw a doodle. So it's literally broken up into 4 quadrants. And then it's kind of a fun daily habit that hopefully you're looking forward to. You do those prompts. And in the book, she tells you other places where you can find daily writing prompts, or she tells you to just write a single line a day. So whatever it looks like for you, as long as you're consistent with it, game on. I think writing today and becoming better writers is even more important than ever because of AI, because of ChatGPT and these other resources, that having the nuances in your writing to help you stand above the rest and to just be competitive in your market, I just think it's so critical. So I think going through these daily exercises or whatever that routine looks for you is going to support you in that effort. And by the way, a lot of us procrastinate, and Anne talks about this in the book, because we think a project like writing a script or a course lesson is going to take so much time, and we feel like we don't have that time. What I like about this habit and with the 4 quadrants is you do a little bit each day, and then before you know it, you've got a script. I think the other benefit is that when you write something and then move on with your day, new ideas will come. Like I know I'll take a break and I'll go take a shower, and then I'll realize, oh, that's the transition, or that's the hook I want to start with. And ideas pop, and you can make it even better. So pick up Anne Handley's book. I'll link to it in the show notes. And she shares formulas of breaking down her writing and things like that. I think it's a really helpful writing manual. Okay, for your 3rd and final routine, we've made it to the end, folks. It's feeding your mind and expert learning. And you know I've been very guilty about this ritual and routine. And I really admire people who are constantly feeding their minds, listening to podcasts, books, documentaries, and I've gotten kind of lazy about it. Now I've got a lineup of documentaries I want to watch on Netflix. I talked about Limitless in the last episode, which was a wonderful limited series. I learned a lot about biohacking with Chris Hemsworth. So what's your feed your mind ritual? I have 2 opportunities to do this. In the morning, I wake up in the morning, Tristan watches a little Netflix before school, and I read my book for 5 minutes. And then at night, and this is my favorite part, Tristan reads a ton. So he'll sit in his bed and I'll sit next to him and we'll read together, which is one of my favorite moments of the day. And he'll be like, hey mom, how's the book coming along? And I'll read him a passage from one of my business books and we'll laugh, and we're doing it together. And I love that it's an activity I can do with Tristan, and I'm feeding my mind. It's end of day ritual because I don't need a lot of energy for that. With the deep work, I do it in the morning because I know that's when I have the most energy. So, but with the reading at the end, I can do it, even if I'm drained at the end of the day. So what's going to be, if you don't have one already, your expert learning ritual? Are you an end of day person? Do you listen to podcasts while you're walking? I know a lot of you do that, by the way, because you write to me and tell me you listen to the podcast while you're walking. So I love that ritual. So if you want to let me know what your routine looks like, write to me on Instagram at Course Creation Boutique or LinkedIn. And if I was going to have a bonus to this episode before I let you go, I would say a wellness routine is really important. Like I'm trying to get back into running. By the way, I feel like every time I record this podcast, I say I'm trying to get back into running, but here we are. I want to get back into walks with Alex, the hubs. So what's your wellness ritual look like? And by the way, sometimes our brains will challenge us on taking time for wellness because we're thinking it's taking time away from our business. But you all know that that recovery time, that time to rest your brain is so important. So you're setting yourself up for success to have more energy and to be in better shape. I know Becky's my online business manager. She'll reach out to me and say, oh, I'm going to go take my walk. And every time I say, go get it, girl, because I know it's going to make her a better online business manager, a better mom, a better wife. So maybe you don't start with all three of these rituals, by the way, as we wrap up. Maybe you start with lead gen. Like, what's your focus on list building going to be? Or maybe you start with your content and scripting ritual. And you start with that. And by the way, if you're interested in the community and the accountability and helping you with your routines, join the 6-week accelerator. You get access to the upgraded community and those monthly calls with me to help you figure out how to move forward with confidence. All right, hopefully I've impacted you in some way. I'd love for you to leave me a review. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss one episode. Until next week, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.